Of aggressive expansion throughout North America and abroad, Starbucks suddenly and unexpectedly closed its 56,423 worldwide locations today to prepare for what insiders call Phase 2 of the company's long-range plan. Cynthia Valcamp, Starbucks head of marketing, made this brief statement at a press conference earlier today.
We have enjoyed furnishing you with coffee-related beverages and are excited about the important role you play in our future plans.
Existing Starbucks franchises across the nation have been shuttered with high-strength titanium, and the well-known Starbucks logo has been slightly altered to present the familiar mermaid figure as a cyclopean mermaid whose all-seeing eye forms the apex of a world-spanning pyramid. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and of course, you can bring up anything that you'd like to discuss. You can take control of the airwaves here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us online anytime you want over at freetalklive.com. And with you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian,
Cody,
and Johnson.
Of course, you can bring up anything, but we always bring interesting stuff to the table to discuss. Johnson, you've got some suggestions, some tips on how to flirt.
Yep.
Coming up here in moments. What's the source on that story? Do you happen to recall?
I think it's Ask Men UK.
Ask Men?
I think so.
So we'll get into that here when we get a chance. But there's a story that we took the night off, actually, last night, which is unusual. We almost always are live, but Daryl Perry went down to the New York Liberty Fest, or Liberty Fest NYC over the weekend, and recorded an episode of the show there. So that's what played last night. So it's been a couple days since I've been on the air. And on Sunday night, we were teasing this story, but never actually really dug into it. It's about Facebook and their censorship. Now, censorship may not exactly be the right term for this, because it is their private property, and, you know, they can do whatever they want with their private property. Censorship generally is a term that that comes into play when we're talking about the government forcibly stopping people from reading something they want to read, or seeing something that they want to see, or sharing something that they want to share. In this case, it's Facebook, which is, not the government, but it is an entity with which, like 1 billion people in the world or something have an account. I mean, there's a lot.
Pretty massive.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are using Facebook. I wish I didn't have to, but I feel like I have to, just because of, Free Talk Live. It's like, if you're doing some sort of business or whatever, you're doing something that you want the public to know about, you're kind of silly if you're not promoting it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm obligated to be there as part of this whole outreach project that we're doing. As of course, this is an operation of the Shire Free Church.
So I wanted to bring up, this is, you're mentioning that, diaspora, but then I was like, just looking to see if diaspora even has an app. No, they actually had another update recently, August 29th, 2016. They just updated to a new version.
This was the much ballyhooed, sort of decentralized Facebook killer.
Yeah,
it never really materialized to be a killer of Facebook, but I'm glad to hear they still exist.
Federated sort of social media site. By basically, you could set up your own web server running Diaspora, and it would link into the network. That way, you could be in control of your own.
So it would link to other sites running the same software, and it would all be together.
Would all federate together. Like, for example, a lot of people probably aren't even aware of this until you start seeing posts disappear on Facebook. This sort of happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And anyone who's been around for a while and has, is kind of an internet geek, Ian, I know you've
been around.
You've experienced this because you have used IRC.
Yes,
and,
I've been around that long.
Some of our listeners are probably in an IRC chat room right now. But IRC has this thing.
Internet Relay Chat.
Yes, Internet Relay Chat. It's just a really primitive chat protocol that was, built when HTTP. A lot of people don't know that the web is actually just a single one of the protocols that were developed when the internet was developed.
That's correct.
FTP and
file transfer protocol.
SMTP, which was the email protocol.
Mail transfer protocol.
Simple mail transfer protocol, I believe so. And there was also, I don't remember the name of the protocol, but the news groups.
NNTP?
I think that might be it. So that's the news group protocol. So, like, the internet was actually this sort of, like, suite of applications originally.
Right.
And one of the things that IRC does is IRC is this sort of like connection network of servers, right?
Yes.
And actually Facebook works in the same way. And so what happens on IRC is you might be in a channel with 500 people, right, in a chat. Although that's probably a little less likely nowadays. But and what will happen is suddenly like half the chat will just drop, and everybody's like, "What just happened? Where'd everybody go?"
Network split.
Correct, a net split. And so this happens with Facebook. Facebook's servers are sort of like federated and networked together like this, and sometimes you'll get these nets. Well, at least this is my theory. I'm pretty sure it's correct, but there's net splits that happen because Facebook's so massive, and so what happens is, I'm sure you've experienced this, where you just go on a thread and posts have just disappeared.
I mean, if it happened, I would have just chalked it up to somebody blocked me or whatever.
Right, but that's not always the case. A lot of times posts will just disappear, like threads and posts, and I think that it's due to the fact that Facebook's internal servers are actually net splitting from one another. Wow. And so like you'll be on one server and your post will be on a different server, and it's like, well,
can't find that post
right
right now.
There goes that post until the servers, rejoin again. And sometimes posts will disappear for a couple hours and then come back. And people are like, I mean, you see it on threads all the time. People are like, where'd my posts go? Like people comment about it, like, what happened to all these posts? And
I wonder how common that is versus somebody reporting a post and actually having it taken down.
Right.
That usually results in, like with a net split, when the connection's remade, then the post would come back, right? But if Facebook takes your post down and gives you a spanking, then the next time you log into the site, there's usually some sort of message that comes up saying, "We've suspended your account for 30 days because somebody didn't like something that you posted." And frequently the things that are reported are like pictures of topless women.
Right.
That it's almost a guarantee some prude is going to hit the report button.
Yep.
And then, you might, I think they start with like a 2-day ban or 3-day ban, and then it's like a week, and then it goes to a month, and then you'll just keep getting month-long bans until they probably finally suspend your account completely.
Right.
But
obnoxious political posts. There are lots of those that are out there.
Do people end up getting banned for an obnoxious political post?
Oh, it can be, because a lot of like the alt-right stuff is just blatantly racist.
Okay,
that happens.
Gotcha.
And I'm sure that there's also just ridiculously offensive stuff on the left too that they post.
But generally, when I've seen things get taken down, it has to do with nudity. It has to do with toplessness of females. Toplessness of guys is completely acceptable, apparently, but female toplessness. That has resulted in a spanking for the Free Talk Live page. And when somebody posts to a page,
Free Talk Live has been banned for posts that didn't even contain nudity. That's
really?
Also happened.
Well, one of the things that happens.
Oh yeah, I remember, because I got a 30-day ban on something that was bikinis.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Because if you get a ban, I get a ban, usually, because the way the page works
not anymore, because remember, I was like, this is the last straw. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Well, right, you resigned from
I resigned from moderating because I'm like, I don't want to get, a even longer ban than that,
Well, right, what you were concerned about was that somebody else would post something you didn't even know about, and then you get banned, because when they ban...
Yeah.
Or when
I got banned for nudity for a post that somebody else posted that didn't actually contain nudity. Yeah. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore.
So, so what happens when a page posts something is every administrator of that page gets the spanking. They get the ban.
Right.
And that's why you got hit. I vaguely recall that.
Yep.
Is there any way you can dispute something like that? Some kind of Facebook
their Facebook
hotline?
I think their Facebook moderators are all like, they look at the pool of people and they're like, okay, your IQ is 87. Perfect. Like, you're hired. Like, they hire just people who just don't care and aren't very smart. Like, you try to talk to them, it's like ridiculous.
So Facebook, according to TheGuardian.com, has decided to allow users to share an iconic Vietnam War photo featuring a naked girl after CEO Mark Zuckerberg was accused of abusing his power when the social media company censored the image.
I'm sure it's Zuckerberg there. He's like, I know what I'm going to do with my time. I've got all these, multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar projects. I'm going to sit here and moderate Facebook.
Pictures.
Yeah, okay. That's what happened. Mark Zuckerberg was abusing his power, sure.
Norway's largest newspaper published a front-page open letter to Zuckerberg on Thursday of last week, slamming Facebook's decision to censor the historic photograph of 9-year-old Kim Phuc running away from a napalm attack and calling on the CEO to live up to his role as, quote, the world's most powerful editor, unquote. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, the photo in question is one you've probably seen before. It's the sort of terrifying, harrowing photo of like 4 or 5 young children running towards a camera, obviously in quite fear for their lives. They're, screaming, scared. There's 3 or 4 soldiers walking behind them. It's in black and white. So you may have seen this picture. And one of the children is completely naked. Toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So Facebook had initially defended its decision to remove the image. We will give you their defense, which they then reversed here in moments. You can share your thoughts about freedom of speech and the freedom to share images. It's Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Ely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-960-4295. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-960-4295. 1-800-960-4295.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. See website for details.
Need some extra cash today? Do you have bad credit or maxed out credit cards? If so, turn your radio up. 45cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks with over 50 different lenders. Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000 with any type of credit discreetly from your computer or smartphone and with no paperwork to send in. That's right, no paperwork whatsoever. Your cash will hit your bank account as soon as tomorrow, as our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history. Visit 45cash.com and you can have up to $5,000 in no time. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income, and you can get the loan you need now, regardless of your credit. Go to 45cash.com from your smartphone or computer to get the cash you need. Visit 45cash.com. Type www.45cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 45cash.com. 45cash.com.
The only nation where this regularly happens concludes that there's no way to prevent this. A college rape victim is pretty thrilled about recounting her assault to a faculty committee, and the nation's depressed individuals march on the Atlantic Ocean. This is the Onion Week in Review. Secretary of Veterans Affairs Eric Shinseki announced plans this week to improve healthcare for American veterans with a new $500 million state-of-the-art waiting room. The 150,000 square foot complex will reportedly feature a wide selection of magazines, 2 water coolers, and receptionists who will immediately give veterans vague answers about how long they can expect to sit there before receiving inadequate healthcare. And in this week's commentary, a local man finds owning a cat is a great way to meet women who magically appear in your living room. In other news, a new study finds employee morale drastically improves after watching a coworker throw a fit. A wise oracle proclaims to all at a barbecue that he felt a raindrop, and an elderly man is hailed as alert.
This is the Onion News Network.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us here toll-free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
Cody.
And Johnson.
We've got Skype. You can Skype on into the show here. Skype username LRN.FM. We're talking about private censorship. I'm still not sure what the right word is. I mean, I guess censorship doesn't necessarily have to do with the government, but I think it most frequently is used in that context. We're talking about Facebook taking down pictures of things that people find offensive. You can share your thoughts at 855-450-FREE. There was a classic Vietnam War photo that has recently been the subject of that controversy, and we'll get deeper into that here in moments. Also, I want to let you know about Jaxx. It is the official wallet of Free Talk Live. People are frequently asking, what wallet do you guys recommend for Bitcoin? Well, Jaxx, and you can go and get it at jaxx.io. Not only is it great for Bitcoin, but it also works for Ether, as well as Dash, and now Ether Classic. There's also Shapeshift integration. That means that you can change from one cryptocurrency to another. So maybe you feel like you want to get some Dash or some Ether. You can take your Bitcoin and just shift it right there into that in the very same app, which is super handy. It was created by Anthony D'Orio, who's one of the founders of Ethereum. And it's also really easy to back up your wallet and recover your funds with Jaxx. So if you lose your phone, it breaks, not the end of the world, so long as you've written down your backup phrase and kept it someplace safe. Jaxx is striving to give you command over your digital life. Coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. It's your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jaxx, the official wallet of Free Talk Live, jaxx.io, and it's cross-platform, which means that you can get it for your smartphone, your laptop, your desktop computer, pretty much whatever operating system you're working on. jaxx.io. As we continue here with the story from Facebook about Facebook taking down a photo, like a classic photograph from the Vietnam War. The story from TheGuardian.com. Facebook had initially defended its decision to remove the image, which is known as Napalm Girl. I don't know if that's what the artist or the photographer originally called it, but that's what it's being referred to as here. It's a classic horrifying photo from Vietnam of several children running towards the cameraman, being followed by soldiers trying to escape from a napalm attack. It's pretty harrowing. Anyway, Facebook defended its decision to remove the image, saying, quote, "While we recognize that this photo is iconic, it's difficult to create a distinction between allowing a photograph of a nude child in one instance and not others." Unquote. On Friday, following widespread criticism from news organizations, there was the major newspaper in Norway published a front-page open letter demanding that they reverse this decision. Media experts across the globe, Facebook reversed its decision, saying in a statement to The Guardian, quote, "After hearing from our community, we looked again at how our community standards were applied in this case. An image of a naked child would normally be presumed to violate our community standards, and in some countries might even qualify as child pornography. In this case, we recognize the history and global importance of this image in documenting a particular moment in time." The statement continued, saying, "Because of its status as an iconic image of historical importance, the value of permitting sharing outweighs the value of protecting the community by removal. So we have decided to reinstate the image on Facebook, where we are aware it has been removed." So here you go. Now you have a picture of a fully naked child available on Facebook. And they're now defending it because, well, it's a historic photograph. So therefore, any amount of prurience or, sexual inclination that someone might have would somehow be canceled out because of the historic importance.
I really can't see there being anything sexual related whatsoever with that image.
No, of course not. It's a child screaming in terror running from napalm.
Just because there's nudity does not mean it has to do with sex.
I totally agree.
And the picture is offensive because war is offensive, but it's going to hurt some people's feelings seeing something like that, but it's reality. You can't just like turn a blind eye to the fact that these things went on in history just because it's gross or scary or hard to look at. I mean, to me, that's sort of like historical whitewashing.
Yeah,
and I'm glad Facebook changed their mind on that.
They made the right decision here. But if you look at the history of children being naked in sort of artistic photos and also just family photos, it's a disturbing one, right? Like parents who take a picture of their kid in the bathtub. There have been stories where back in the day when people would go and get film developed, because that doesn't really happen now.
Yeah.
But 20 years ago, everybody had to go and take their film to get developed. And there were stories where somebody's taken their film to get developed. The developer saw pictures of naked children, their own kids, like in the bathtub doing innocent, childlike things, and then reported them to the police. And then, that just has ruined some parents' lives. Like, even if you end up getting the charges dropped later on, now you've been accused of child pornography, and that can be kind of a hard label to undo.
It does seem like there are a decent amount of moms who will get away with just fine getting pictures of their children up online. Now, that is something I don't want to see. I mean, I wouldn't call for anything to ever be removed off Facebook. I just think it's weird.
Pictures of kids?
We're coming into this weird generation where it's like, well, you got to wonder, okay, Mom, how is your kid going to feel when he or she grows up and realizes that every moment of them being, naked in the bathtub or whatever they were doing as a child, it's not just going in a physical photo album for the family to share now. Now these narcissistic parents have shown it to the world publicly on Facebook, and you're going to grow up knowing that, you might have hopes and dreams of being a doctor or a lawyer, but people, it's just weird to me that people are going to find like, well, here's you naked as a baby.
Oh, come on. That's not going to stop you from becoming a doctor.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Maybe not. I'm just saying parents are getting real weird with it.
How is it
they've
any
always
different?
been show-offy with their kids.
Right,
but,
it's no different than, when I was growing up, they had a photo album.
Or
Mom would have a photo album.
They keep pictures in their wallet and annoy strangers at the grocery line, like, here's my kids, and, flip it open. But now because of the internet, it's like
Are you worried that your parents are going to, scan photos of you from a child and then tag it with, Cody's D?
You never know. There is one picture of me being 7 years old. My grandmother took this picture. It was me changing to get into the pool, and it had my little white Irish butt. Now, to me, that's an embarrassing picture. I don't want to end up on the internet because my grandmother's got Facebook now.
Right.
She's probably still got the image, and
and you think your grandmother's gonna be like, "Ooh, look at that butt."
She might find it funny or cute or whatever. I'm just saying, there's not much I can do to stop it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I just don't. I think your fears are pretty overblown there, Cody.
Maybe.
I mean, if it's indeed common that parents are putting a bunch of photos of their kids online, and I suspect it is, then it won't be unusual if somebody looks back and they're able to find a bunch of pictures of you.
I want to see if people start posting all the pictures from famous photographer Sally Mann, who is very well known for she took nude photography of children, and her images are definitely without question iconic. I mean,
and also not pornographic
right.
as well. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can share your thoughts on Facebook's so-called censorship here. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
This is novelist Tom Robbins. When my mother was diagnosed with glaucoma, her conservative Virginia physician told her there was only one treatment that might ease her pain and save her eyesight. That treatment was medical marijuana, which he could not prescribe. I offered to get her some and teach her how to use it effectively, but my father objected because marijuana was against the law. So my mother, who loved to read and walk in nature, was condemned to grow cruelly, unnecessarily blind. Tragedies like this happen all the time, but they don't have to keep happening. To learn more about medical marijuana, call the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us right here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well. Skype username is LRN.FM. And if you want to get 500 business cards for just $9.99, then I've got a code for you to use over at Vistaprint.com. You go to Vistaprint.com, you can order, of course, more than just business cards. They got a bunch of great stuff like postcards, flyers, banners, apparel, invitations. You can even order your checks through Vistaprint.com. I did that recently. Use code FTL at checkout, and you'll get 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. Now, you can customize the text, the colors, the backsides, and more. They've got thousands of industry-specific templates, and you can even upload your existing logo to one of Vistaprint's existing designs. Or if you've got your own design, front and back, you can upload those as well. This is what I did with my Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree palm card that I made full full color palm card was super easy to do. Plus, you can upgrade the quality of the card. Maybe you want a thicker stock or a brilliant finish like metallic, spot gloss, or raised print. Vistaprint can do it, and it's super easy to use. Their online card designing tool is really user-friendly, and they guarantee you'll love your products every time. So really, you got nothing to lose here. Or they'll make it right with their amazing customer service. Use code FTL, like Free Talk Live, when you're at the checkout to get 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. That's Vistaprint.com with code FTL. We're talking about Facebook removing a classic Vietnam photo because of a naked child in the photo. Then, after a huge community outrage, sort of putting it back. Let's go to Tim, listening in Wyoming. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Ian. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. Now,
sure.
I remember seeing that photo when it was first published, and it's probably been in hundreds, maybe even thousands of publications. So it's literally as iconic a photo of the Vietnam era as you could hope for.
It's that like one and the one where the soldier has a gun to somebody's head. That's probably the only other Vietnam War photo that I think of when I think of iconic.
I know the one you're thinking of. It's actually a photo taken just as the pistol's being fired into the person's head.
Oh wow!
And you can see that the person's eye is the right eye. I think it's from the left side of the person's head. The person's right eye is closing first because the left side of the brain is being killed first.
Oh wow!
So the right eye, but that's the photo as the bullet is going into the person's head. That's when the photo was taken, and there's some photos exactly like that of the Chinese Revolution, Mao's Cultural Revolution, when they were shooting the intelligentsia, if you will. They were killing the teachers and the doctors and anyone who was in opposition. Well, anyone that Mao felt was in opposition, at least. And the same kind of photos are out there. But the photo you're referring to, I remember seeing it. It's been, as I say, it's been printed in many, 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 many newspapers, magazines, et cetera, et cetera. The girl that was in the photo she lives in the United States now. She's not a girl anymore, obviously. I think that was the I'm trying to think. I think it was 71 or 72 when that photo was taken, I think. Something like that. And so she's almost 60 or something. No, wait a minute.
She was 10 at the time. So yeah, she would be getting up towards 60.
Yeah, she's pretty, but she said herself, when she saw the photo was taken, she said herself that she thought that it was iconic of the war. It was and she was screaming. Her clothes had actually been burned off of her. Wow. That's the reason she was running and screaming. And she was naked because, as I say, her clothing was literally burned off her. Cotton fiber burns like a candle wick. It just burns right up. So
it's horrifying.
It's amazing she lived through that.
It is amazing that she lived through it, and she's married to an American man here, and I think she has children too. But the thing is that she doesn't have any, as far as I know, any lasting scars from, maybe a few on her back, but not anything really that you'd say, oh, she looks like she was in a fire. Well, if she took her clothes off, yes, but the thing is that photo, as I say, I remember seeing it when I was probably, 7 or 8 years old, and I thought it was actually in the newspaper. I remember seeing it in the newspaper, and maybe I was a little bit younger than that, but at the same time, the fact of the matter is that is representative of what war does. It's a screaming terror for most people. It is. Yep. It is. It's horrifying, and I think that as you said many times, okay, it's private property, technically, Facebook, but at the same time, they are in a way, in a manner of speaking, they're a news organization. So a lot of people treat them as their news source.
Not really. I mean, Facebook isn't
quite a few people that do, though.
Yeah, Facebook itself, though, isn't a news organization in the way they are structured or in really what they do. I mean, they provide a venue for people to post things about their lives, which could include news. Right. Certainly, news organizations have a presence on Facebook, but Facebook themselves are not sending out journalists, for the most part, to go and report on things. They don't have a news editor. I mean, they do have sort of the trending topics where they had some human beings who are cultivating those, I guess, but those are, again, based on what the Facebook users are choosing. I guess if you wanted to argue that the Facebook users are essentially the news editors, but still, that's a real...
I don't know. If you're getting your news from Facebook, you're probably missing out on a lot of stuff.
Sure.
Well, I'm not doubting that. I'm not saying,
I guess the way I look, I almost look at it, and even though it is a private company, it almost does have that like public commons type of feel, right? Where
that's what I mean.
There should be a place where okay, well, I don't know how to juggle this in my head because of course it's a private company, but it should be a place where free speech thrives, considering that. In this culture, in this day and age, so many people spend so much time on Facebook, and this is how we're communicating with each other.
Well, this is a
sharing
disturbing.
Ideas.
Well, okay, I understand where you're coming from. And by the way, Tim, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
I mean, come on, guys. Everybody should be getting their news from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
I've never even seen that version of the show.
No,
it sucks.
Bad.
It went down the drain.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
So,
not that it was great, towards the end with Jon Stewart anyway. It started getting pretty deceptive. But
so what you said, though, Cody, I think a lot of people agree with. Like, they'll say, Facebook's a right. And that's not exactly what you said, but you did say that free speech should be allowed there because it is sort of, you feel like it's become this commons because it's so large.
It's almost like, okay, so the people running this website almost should understand the responsibility of how massive this is and take into consideration their decisions and how it will literally affect the direction of our culture and the way the species evolves socially.
But at the same time, just because a private company gets so big that it has attracted more than 1 billion users, and I don't recall, maybe it's 2 billion. I really don't recall the number. It's a lot. But just because they become so popular doesn't mean that they should lose their decision-making ability.
True.
And have to all of a sudden, well, now you've got 1 billion users, so now we're going to nationalize you or whatever. Now you're the government. Or that's a disturbing concept, even though I agree with you. I would like to see Facebook be more tolerant of freedom of speech.
Of course.
But
and
ultimately,
this is why, where's the competition, right? Like
there are competitors.
They stomp the crap out of Facebook, and Twitter's a whole different animal, right?
Yep,
so
completely different.
It would be real nice if we had something else. So okay, Facebook's being dumb.
Johnson said Diaspora is still out there. Why didn't you join it?
Yeah.
Because we all so Google Plus is out there too, but we all know nobody's using it. That's the problem.
1.71 billion, by the way.
1.7.
1.71 billion.
I mean,
and the number of users that have been active in the past 30 days is 1 billion.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, if the world has 8 billion people on it, that's an eighth of the world's population are active users on the site.
It's a big responsibility.
And basically like everyone in every first world country,
Well, right, because 4 billion people don't have internet access, so you're really talking about a quarter of the world's internet population is on Facebook. It's incredible. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Share your thoughts with us. This is Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. The dial-in number for you, 855-450-FREE, or Skype into the show. Skype username is LRN.FM. And with you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
Cody.
And Johnson.
Don't forget, you can always join us online at freetalklive.com. All the features that we have on the site are completely free. If you want to help support Free Talk Live, however, you may do that by becoming a Free Talk Live amplifier. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. The idea is simple. You send $5 a month into the show with any major credit card through PayPal or Visa or MasterCard or Bitcoin right there over at freetalklive.com. And that helps us out because we can then invest that $5 a month into Free Talk Live, getting on more radio stations around the country, bringing new internet listeners on board. And you get perks too. So you get access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, which is very, very popular. There's always fresh posts there every day, which is cool. And then also the AMP-only podcast, which is basically our regular show, but it doesn't have the same amount of podcast ads in it. So go and get all the details about the AMP program. Get signed up at amp.freetalklive.com. As we go to Skype, we're talking about Facebook being this behemoth that, if they decide that there will not be a historic, iconic Vietnam photo allowed on their site, then it shall not be allowed and you'll be banned for having it. Or they can reverse their decision, which is what they've done with the Napalm Girl photo, which is the one where several children are kind of running towards a cameraman during a napalm attack. Just an absolutely harrowing photo. But because one of the children is naked, some people say it shouldn't be allowed. Let's go to Nahuel. He's on the line, I believe, in Brazil. Chile. I apologize. Chile. Go ahead, sir.
Actually, I wrote okay. First, I'm an open source developer. And a few months ago, I accidentally was called to take care of a local BDSM community.
You were called to take care of it. What does that mean? I mean, I don't even want to speculate what that means in the BDSM world.
Let's just find out.
Yeah.
No. Just the technology. We have a web page where it's actually based on OXWall. That is like a social network software, because we can live in Facebook. Even though people do create profiles in Facebook, but they get blocked like in a month or less. So BDSM community need a separate website.
FetLife, right?
So if they don't, if you don't provide the deliverables on time, do they tie the chair and tell you they're going to whip you until you get it done?
Actually, it's more like I do that thing. But
so you're a member of the BDSM community in addition to being its technical expert.
Yeah, I was called as technical because I was being part of the community.
Okay, got it.
The issue with Facebook is that it's like the default. So everybody wants to do in Facebook, and they get constantly blocked, and it's a huge issue for us. So
now, just to clarify, before you go on, I know you're looking at other options, and I definitely want to hear other options besides Facebook.
Well, I know for a fact there's a website called FetLife. I don't know why.
Fetish Life.
I think it's just FETLIFE. Yeah,
I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
It's just FetLife, but FetLife is working just in English. And in my country, most people do not speak English. So FetLife is for the really hardcore BDSM people here. And we are like really, really few people.
But what is it that, okay, so on Facebook, presumably this group would be a private group, right? I mean, or was it public? Meaning that, you know, if people who are into BDSM are the only ones in the group, then it seems less likely that there would be people reporting posts in that circumstance. But was that what you
No. There is a lot of drama in this kind of community. So
of course, there's drama all over the damn place.
every time, and that guy that looking at you is denouncing your profile for this other reason. So we need a space where users don't get blocked.
That makes sense. So somebody doesn't like somebody else so everybody's into BDSM, but so-and-so didn't like so-and-so, or is mad at so-and-so because they went with somebody else. Now they're reporting their post just to be an a-hole. Okay, I got you. So you're looking at other solutions.
Exactly.
What did you find?
So I start to look at alternatives, but you have to know that like a year ago, I tried Liberty.me. And it wasn't exactly my flavor of Liberty people. I don't know if you have tried there.
They were an advertiser for a very short period of time. We went, I looked at it, checked out the site. I mean, if you're a libertarian, it might be a cool site to be on, but it certainly, wouldn't be anything for anyone else outside of that community. And they were charging for access, which is going to keep out the riffraff. But it's hard to get somebody to sign up for something that, they have to pay for when they're used to Facebook, which is free.
It also means that somebody has to define who's riffraff.
Well, but what I'm saying is if somebody has to pay to get into the site, that's going to keep out most of the troublemakers, like most of the trolls, because they're not willing to pay $5 a month or whatever to do that. But I'm not an active user of the site.
It was like this more right-wing libertarian flavor that I don't have anything against them, but I need my weird people, and they're not there.
Yes, weird people. We love those folks.
So I was thinking, and I actually wrote to Brian Soren and Jeffrey Tucker about this, that we actually currently use a currency that is open source and federalized, like Diaspora. Diaspora is a federalized system. I discarded Diaspora for our BDSM community because we have no money. But if some libertarian people would like to create a Liberty network.
No, wait, hold on. Before you go on here, I just make sure I understood you, because sometimes the accent gets confusing. So you said you discarded Diaspora because you don't have money? Is it I thought that was a free site. Is it that you have to host your own server and that's what's expensive? Or maybe I didn't understand you right.
Yeah, open source is free, but you have your own website in Drupal. I'm a Drupal developer, and you know that developing in that platform is not cheap. Nope. You need to pay to the developers.
Yep, very expensive.
But
so what you're saying is Diaspora requires Drupal requires a developer in order to have. No,
implementing a Diaspora platform like seriously. Will be, I don't know, under $10,000, but it's a lot of money for this kind of community to have like the.
So what you're saying, I just want to make sure I'm following you. You're saying that to implement a Diaspora-like platform, so something that is decentralized, it's like Diaspora, the existing social bookmarking website, but is not, in point of fact, Diaspora. Is that what you're saying?
No. Actually. We're currently using another software that is kind of really oriented to this matchmaking need of our community. So we have like a real good chat, and you can upload your pictures, and this like really defined features that you will find in Diaspora, but probably you have to tweak it a little bit here, a little bit there to be the same functionality.
I can't imagine that costing $10,000 to implement what is essentially like the same level of implementation as installing like an Apache web server. You know, like you're just deploying an application onto a server. It's like you just install it around Diaspora, right?
Yeah, Diaspora is kind of written in other language, in Ruby or something like that. You have to have like a dedicated server. You can run it in Heroku, but the tweaking, you will have to do some little bit of contrib. You will have to code a little bit, and that level of coder is no cheap. Even if you hire.
Did he just say what I thought he said? I'm gonna have to dump that just because I'm not sure what he said. Look,
no price. How do you say?
Nahuel. Let's cut to the chase here. Did you guys go with something, or are you still trying to figure out what to use?
I think he said not cheap, by the way.
Okay, you might be right, but it sounded like the S word. Anyway, so what did you guys decide on?
We're still on the same. No. DSM community will still be on the same old platform that is isolated, but because the problem of Oxwall, Facebook, and all these things is that they run on one website, and it's like an island. And Diaspora has this concept of pods, that you have your website on the Liberty pod or the BDSM pod. We have these rules and everything is allowed, but we can connect with other pods that has another rules. It's a federated system, just like Bitcoin.
So you're saying go with the Diaspora. That's the best option right now besides Facebook?
No, I'm saying the Liberty developers out there and the Liberty entrepreneurs out there, we should try to do something like that. Because
find something. So you're saying have an alternative to Diaspora that is similarly sort of decentralized. I would love to see that happen. In fact, we've been talking about it here in the Keene area recently. Thanks, Noel, for the call tonight. Hour number 2 on the way, 855-450 free. What's the best option out there? It's Free Talk Live. You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Tuesday, gold is $4 lower at $1,324 per ounce. Silver is 15 cents lower at $19 per ounce. Bitcoin is $607 US. Check out our selection of Royal Canadian Mint products. Beautiful bars and coins with enhanced security features. For more information, call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 13th, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.08 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,325 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $610. Antiwar.com reports the Syrian ceasefire went into effect on Monday evening across the entire country. Despite a handful of claims of violations, it appears they have largely been intact. Across the country, there is considerable tension and many expect the deal to fail, but there is also a calm. The largest reported incident of fighting was in the far southern Daraa province, where southern rebels who were supposed to be part of the ceasefire bragged of killing 4 soldiers after it was supposed to have gone into effect. Helicopter strikes were also reported against the rebel-held half of Aleppo, though since the area is held by the Nusra Front, which is not a party to the ceasefire, it is unclear if they actually amount to a violation or not. The plan is for the ceasefire to last 7 days, leading to joint U.S.-Russian operations against some rebel factions within Syria. This presumably will include attacks on Nusra as well as the Islamic State, though details are relatively scant on the matter. There's also some hope that it would lead to peace talks which might resolve the war, though this appears to be a real long shot, and getting those rebels to even agree to participate in peace negotiations has historically been all but impossible and filled with preconditions demanding unilateral government surrender before the talks. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. UPI reports a federal appeals court will consider whether the government can bar people from taking pictures of their ballots in voting booths. The First Circuit Court of Appeals in Boston will hear arguments on Tuesday whether it is a violation of free expression or a way to prevent fraud. New Hampshire became the first state to prohibit so-called ballot selfies in 2014. The law makes it a crime punishable by a fine of up to $1,000 for a voter to take a picture of their ballot and post it on social media. The law was blocked a year ago by a federal judge and the state appealed. This law was amended from one in 1979 that makes it illegal for a voter to show a ballot to someone else with the intention of disclosing how the person plans to vote. 3 New Hampshire voters who are challenging the law took selfies as they voted. New technology, namely the smartphone, is in conflict with concerns about vote buying that date back to the 1800s. Gilles Bissonnette of the American Civil Liberties Union of New Hampshire, representing the challengers, says there isn't a single instance of vote buying in the state and no one has complained to New Hampshire officials about the ballot selfies. For nearly 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a grand jury will hear evidence of whether Chicago police officers lied to justify the 2014 shooting death of a teenager by a police officer, according to local media reports on Monday. Patricia Brown Holmes, a special prosecutor appointed by Cook County Judge Leroy Martin Jr. in July, motioned for a grand jury on Monday after looking at preliminary information. She did this so that people would know there was fairness in the process. Martin accepted the motion and said he would convene a special grand jury to hear evidence, according to the Chicago Tribune. The October 2014 killing of Laquan McDonald, who was shot 16 times by Officer Jason Van Dyke, brought intense national scrutiny on Chicago's police force. A police video of the shooting released more than a year later made headlines across the country and prompted calls for Mayor Rahm Emanuel to resign. The video footage showed Van Dyke continuing to fire after McDonald had fallen to the ground. Van Dyke is facing charges of first-degree murder and is on unpaid leave. Van Dyke has pled not guilty. The police report on the shooting conflicted with the video footage, sparking accusations that Van Dyke's fellow officers were trying to cover up an unjustified shooting. Last month, the chief of Chicago's police department recommended that 5 officers, including Van Dyke, be fired over their role in the shooting. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After the USDA unveiled its updated roommate food pyramid earlier this week, Department of Agriculture spokesman Michael Lowry spoke to Onion reporters about just how many servings of someone else's food roommates should be consuming on a day-to-day basis.
Under the new guidelines, roommates should eat at least 4 portions of someone else's grains per day, including 1 to 2 cups of already opened cereal. Of course, this is all in addition to the 8 to 16 swigs of milk and orange juice spaced out over a few days.
Lowry emphasized that many aspects of the new roommate food pyramid are unchanged from the previous version, including a recommended daily intake of 24 ounces of lunch meat straight from the bag and 5 to 7 weekly finger scoops of Erica's peanut butter.
Remember to limit your intake of sugar and sweets from half-open containers, especially if they're Jessica's, because she'll definitely notice.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Launching into the second hour of the program, you can bring up whatever you want. Just dial in toll-free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. Now, we were talking about Facebook in the first hour of the show. Coming up, Johnson's got some tips on flirting. We'll get into that here in moments. But you kind of had brought up what could be a disturbing idea, Cody, in the last hour, and that was that Facebook is so big, some people are considering it the commons now. And our last caller sort of he was the one who actually brought that term up. And Facebook isn't the commons, it's a private company that's incredibly popular.
Well, I think Facebook needs to be nationalized.
Well, it's technically true, and I don't think it should be nationalized. It's
but
just
some people would call for that.
You know, when okay.
Some people would say Facebook's a right. You should have a right to get on Facebook.
The biggest
from
worry about capitalism is the idea of monopolies, right?
Mm-hmm, sure.
And
robber barons.
Facebook has become so big that it literally can do anything it wants. And, you know, you can make the argument, well, just don't get on Facebook. Well, people are going to think, what are you not doing on Facebook? You're weird. You know, so it brings up an interesting conversation for sure. I'm not going to say I'm going to change my opinions on, you know, what the private sector does. However, it is, like I said, it does give them a massive amount of responsibility from just a moral perspective. And it's just me kind of like hoping they don't take advantage of the fact that they are so massive. And it can be kind of scary.
Well, okay, but the problem is the other side of the coin is there's someone else who has the exact same opinion, but that they have this responsibility, but from a different perspective. meaning that someone who's, let's say, a prude, and they don't want to have any topless photos of any women whatsoever on Facebook, they would say it is Facebook's responsibility to protect the community from topless women.
These pictures are disgusting. The children need to be protected from this nonsense.
Those people.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this, and there should be possibly an easy fix to it. Some way of when you post something, right? You know how like when you post a podcast, you pick a tag whether it's explicit or not explicit. So they could easily just add a button when you're posting something on Facebook.
Not safe for work.
Not safe for work or whatever. And then you can go into your settings on your profile and say, and you can filter out the posts that you want to see on your personal news feed. So if you don't want to see something that may be offensive or explicit or contain nudity, then you can make that decision yourself instead of Facebook.
Sure, but the person...
But what about the children? The children aren't going to do that. The children are going to access this content, and they can't be allowed to have access to this kind of
because
kind of filth.
The children are smart enough to get around the filters. You know, they'll put in a different age, you know, because the filter automatically filters out for anyone under the age of 18. So they'll put in 20 as their age.
Well, that's always going. I mean, how many websites? I mean,
but that's why they'll say it's Facebook's responsibility to just not even allow the content in the first place.
I always love to, like, whenever you go to like a beer website, which I don't even know why you would.
They ask you how old you are.
Yeah, you'll put in your date of birth. Like there's no way you can lie about it.
Gaming websites even too. It's ridiculous.
If something's rated M.
I always just scroll down to make sure that I'm born on January 1st, 1900. Every time.
I would love
ridiculous.
to get the new Fallout 4 video game. Yeah, like at 107 years old.
So, but you see where I'm coming from? Like, there's different types of people who all think Facebook has the responsibility to act in the way they think Facebook should act. And so if Facebook becomes a commons, or if it becomes, some sort of government program or whatever, and that's not what you were saying, but if there are some people who would like to see Facebook be a right and that everyone should have access to it, then you're going to have everyone, just like with the government today, how everybody fights over control of the government, everybody's going to be fighting over control of Facebook's editorial policies.
I guess what I was trying to say is it's like a commons. Not that it is, but it sort of seems like one, like just this public space where...
yeah, it's an S show, like a public space can be. So sure, I'll give you that.
The more freedom of speech there is on there, the better off we're going to be as a species. Some people are going to get their feelings hurt, but that's part of life. That is part of life.
Well, I mean, look, Free Talk Live is an open phones show, and it's pretty free speech oriented, but there's some things you just can't say on the radio. But even if there weren't an FCC involved, we might still not allow those things to be said, because our radio stations might not want it to be said on their airwaves. And so if a radio station loses an advertiser or something like that over somebody saying the F word on the air, incessantly, then that's a legitimate market response.
Sure. So,
freedom of speech isn't really always what's called for if you're trying to serve a marketplace.
Yeah, you're going to go for the utilitarian value. I mean, so Facebook, yeah, they're a business. They want to keep the most amount of people happy, right? So they will get worried like, well, this picture is kind of dodgy. I don't know. Maybe it'd be safer to just ban it. And then they change their mind because enough people were angry about it. So much like a politician, they're going to go with whatever is going to make the most people happy.
That's true.
With their decision-making process.
So we were talking about the picture that started this whole conversation, the Napalm Girl photo, which is the iconic photo from the Vietnam War. There's a napalm attack. There's several children running from it, and one of them is fully naked, and that is what has sparked this controversy, where Facebook initially said that it's a violation of their community standards, but then later they said they re-reviewed and considered that because of the historical significance, that outweighed the chance that there would be some sort of prurient interest. And while there probably is some sicko out there who gets off on looking at the photo of the Napalm Girl, I mean, it is in no way, shape, or form a sexual or sexualized photograph at all.
Mean, the old saying about pornography, right? You know it when you see it. But I mean, it's pretty obvious looking at that picture. It is not intended to titillate.
That's correct.
In any way, shape, or form.
But Johnson, you brought up, and I think it was during one of our breaks, I don't think it was on the air, Sally Mae?
No, Sally Mann. Not
Sally Mann.
Sally Mae. Sally Mae is where you get a
loan.
federal housing loan.
Right. Sally Mann, a photographer I don't know if she's still alive or what.
I
but,
believe she is, yes. I think. I'm not 100% sure.
I remember we talked about her years ago on this show.
Right.
That you could like go into Barnes & Noble and get one of her books.
Well, of course, yeah.
She's
famous. I mean, she's a very famous photographer.
And she's known for taking pictures of children, some of which are naked, I
believe it was mostly her children. I mean...
Yeah, and so some people think this is, child pornography. Other people say that's artwork.
Right.
It's artistic. There's nothing pornographic about it because some people believe that a naked person, whether it's a naked child or female or man, that just the simple fact that someone is naked is a sexual thing.
Right.
And I don't think that that's the case. I would say, there's a strong argument that it's not, in point of fact, the case. But whatever goes on in someone's mind is another question.
What's disturbing to me is, who cares if it is? I believe our society is so sick. Because, we as a society are, at least, especially in the United States, are so tolerant of graphic violence. And to me, if you're going to judge a photograph or judge content based on how reprehensible it is, when the police are kicking someone's teeth in, I'd rather see some boobies.
Sure, but those photos shouldn't be banned either. Right?
No, of course not.
I mean, that's the perfect example is the Vietnam picture, right? Because the only reason the kid is naked is because the napalm burned her clothes off. That's a horrifically violent thing that's been encapsulated in a moment on a camera, and they're complaining about genitalia.
Right.
It's like if anybody should have their be offended, it should be the fact that this was going on.
Absolutely.
This horribly graphically violent act.
I mean, I am deeply offended by people that are offended by this. That's how that works. It's kind of interesting. If you're offended by that, you are an offensive person.
Yeah.
You are the problem. You should be banned. My thought is if I were one of these people who had this kind of view, I would want you nowhere near my children. If I had children, I wouldn't want you to have any interactions with them. I think you're disgusting. I think you're a reprehensible person. You are gross. If you're one of these moralists, you're awful.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us, you want to respond to Johnson, you can join us here toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. More about the Facebook photo controversy, or the latest one. This is Free Talk Live. You can join us. Skype username LRN.FM.
So when we brought him home, we didn't realize that Bear, the rescue dog, was actually sick. He had very flaky skin. He was dropping a lot of fur, and Levette wanted to do steroid injections, special dog food. Nothing seemed to work. So I've been hearing Dinovite on the radio for years.
DINOVITE.com. 859-428-1000.
It never actually crossed my mind to try it until I was just at a dead end. And then it finally sunk in. Oh, you're talking about hair and skin. And all right, I'll try it. Well, it took probably 6 weeks, but after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch, and he started to put weight on. It was awesome. He makes us feel like we saved him. Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days. I wish that we would have started the Dinovite right away. It would have been so much easier.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market, making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us right here toll free via this number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, it is an indicator of how important Facebook is in many people's lives, the fact that we're spending time talking about their photo policy here on Free Talk Live. That the iconic Vietnam-era war photo of what's called Napalm Girl, where there's several children running towards a camera trying to escape a napalm attack, and it's a horrifying, scary picture. It was banned from Facebook recently until a huge outcry encouraged them to reconsider their policy about this specific picture, at least. They said they would, quote, adjust their review mechanisms to permit sharing of the image going forward. The company said the image would be available for sharing in the coming days, and that it is, quote, always looking to improve our policies to make sure they both promote free expression and keep our community safe. And, of course, this is part of what you were touching on, Johnson, where there's these people who want to keep everyone safe from anything that involves nudity. And
it's reality, though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay, not every parent wants their kids to be exposed to what this is, right? But it's going to happen. I remember I was in elementary school when they dragged out a TV and they were like, watch 9/11. You know, they made you as kids.
It happened to me when I was in elementary school. It was the Challenger explosion.
And
Yep.
You know, and it's like, well, do you want a kid to be lying about what the world is for their entire lives until, you know, they turn 18?
Well, if that's the case, don't put them on any kind of social networking platform.
Yeah, just completely...
Don't let them have the internet.
Keep them in a bubble. Right. And then the moment that they're off on their own, they will be horrified and have no life experience and not even be ready for the amount of violence and horrible things that the government is doing and just the things that people do. Yeah, it's not all pretty. But, you know, I'm sorry. If you are going to have a kid, you should think long and hard about that before you do, because
most people don't.
You're bringing them into a world where you have to have conversations with them, like, you know, hey, little Johnny, some people are crack addicts. You know
that's something I've never understood.
Some people are prostitutes.
Like, why are you so afraid to have a conversation with your kids? Like, what's wrong with your child sees the Napalm Girl photo scrolling through the news feed, and they say, hey, Mom, Dad, what's this?
Yeah.
What's happening here? Well, why is it so hard to explain to them? Well, there are these evil things in the world called governments, and they're made up of people just like you and I, except these people are sick. They're sick, angry people who want to hurt other people. And this picture was taken when some of those governments were trying to hurt each other and other people, and little kids like you got caught in that, and they hurt these kids. So governments are really bad. I mean, obviously, it's is it that hard to have a conversation? Obviously, that would be how a libertarian might answer it. But somebody else just might talk about the Vietnam War and explain what happened.
Right, like sit them down for 5-10 minutes. You can't be that busy. No,
it's the fear of having that discussion in the first place.
Some Republicans take it to an even weirder level, where gay marriage gets legalized, and they're like, well, I don't want to have a conversation to my kids about how some guys like other guys. Like, well, but you're not going to stop that from happening.
Yeah, I mean, and as you said, at some point they're going to encounter a couple guys holding hands or kissing or something.
Right.
Or they're going to meet the gay kid in their school, or maybe more than one. And then they're going to learn it for themselves. And then, what good have you done as a parent to prepare them for that?
Yeah, exactly.
So Espen Egil Hansen, editor-in-chief and the CEO of Aftenposten, this is the major newspaper in Norway that published a front-page article about this decision by Facebook to censor this photo initially. They accuse Zuckerberg of thoughtlessly, quote, abusing your power, unquote, over the social media site that has become a key distributor of news around the globe. He wrote, quote, I'm upset, disappointed, well, in fact, even afraid of what you are about to do to a mainstay of our democratic society, unquote. The controversy stems from Facebook's decision to delete a post by Norwegian writer Tom Egeland that featured the terror of war.
Maybe they should change their name to the People's Republic of Facebook.
With dear leader Zuckerberg. Is Tom Egeland featured the terror of war, which is a Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph by Nick Ut that showed children, including Ms. Fook, fleeing an attack. Okay, so that's the actual name of the photo. They were calling it Napalm Girl. I guess that's the shorthand, the today name for it. But it's called The Terror of War, which is much more appropriate. Fleeing an attack. Egeland's post discussed, quote, 7 photographs that changed the history of warfare, group to which the Napalm Girl image certainly belongs. The controversy has erupted at a time of increasing tensions between media organizations and Facebook, the site where 44% of U.S. adults get their news. So that comes back around to the conversation we had earlier about, well, is Facebook a news site?
We will choose what is news here at Facebook.
Ah, yes.
That is
comrade.
That is so frightening.
We will choose what you can see.
Well, not only are they choosing, but also the problem with Facebook is your friends are choosing, and so you never actually get to see anything besides what your friends have chosen. Right?
They show you 3 trending stories now, and it's always just like somebody's name.
Oh, it's almost always pop culture. Almost always.
And you have to hover over the actual thing to get a news story.
Soon we will have Facebook gliders that fly around the world to provide the internet, and we will decide what it gets to be put on the internet.
That's a true statement. Right. People may not realize that, but Facebook is trying to bring Facebook to the 4 billion people of the world who do not have internet access.
Google's going to have balloons, Facebook will have gliders.
And some of the critique about that plan, or some of the critique is that, well, Facebook is only putting its website on this internet that they're giving away. They're supposedly giving it away for free to people in these very impoverished areas of the world. And so, the question is, well, first of all, people are starting to already believe that Facebook is the internet.
I wonder if that means that the only content that will be accessible through that version of Facebook would be the instant articles.
The instant articles?
Instant articles is a Facebook protocol, much like Google. There's another Google protocol that's also these high-end, it's very high-speed content. It's a different protocol that only allows certain sorts of JavaScript. Everyone's noticed when you go to a lot of these web pages, you click on a link from Facebook, you load the page, you try to load the page is jumping all over the place because it's loading ads, it's going crazy, and it takes like a minute or 2 minutes to get to the freaking content because it's so bogged down with all these ad tracking software and it's logging where you are. Well, instant articles and this other thing by Google, which I can't remember the name of right now, I'll figure that out, but they basically they disallow all this scripting, and they only allow very certain amounts of and it loads lightning fast.
Right.
So you click on it, it's loaded instantly.
Right.
And the thing is that's hosted on Facebook servers. So, would that be the only content that they can access? Because if they can't access anything outside of Facebook, then they wouldn't be able to access anything but instant articles.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which are controlled also by Facebook.
It's been a while since I've read about their, whatever they call it, Facebook, what are they calling it? Internet.org, I think?
Yeah.
I think that's their thing. You can share your thoughts here with us. Maybe you've been researching Internet.org. I mean, ultimately, I think that it's a good thing that people who are not, they don't have any access to any kind of electronic connections with others should have. I mean, that they would have that is a good thing. But the fact that it's only Facebook is disturbing. But then again, it's their company. They can do what they want. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. More about control of content coming up.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
ProPure water filters, making water great again. Taste and feel the difference with state-of-the-art filter technology. Pro 1 G2.0 and Pro Max filters are independent lab tested to NSF standards. Choose from Gravity, countertop, pitcher, shower, and inline filtration products. There's a ProPure for you. Buy risk-free today. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
Well, let's say that the Chinese troops decide to come over here because the local governments here have asked them to come here and help out with things, to controlling traffic and stuff like that. Would you be all right with that? If you were polled, would you say you're cool and great?
It would depend on, no, I wouldn't like it, but it would also depend on the situation. If I had a group of radicals, say Christians, going around, terrorizing and bombing and killing other religious sects because they didn't believe in what they believe in, and we needed help. Yeah, I may at that point.
Now, what if
it's not like we have a group of people.
What if some of those Chinese troops by accident killed, say, your wife? How would you feel about those Chinese troops at that point?
I'm sure I'd have a whole different opinion.
Yeah, I bet you would.
That's an honest answer.
You are
sir.
an awesome caller.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may join us right here toll free, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us online at freetalklive.com and enjoy the features we have on the website. We give them away to you. Once again, freetalklive.com. Now, if you go to saveitpurse.com, it's not going to be a giveaway, but you're going to get a huge discount on the products that you buy normally at Amazon. If you've shopped at Amazon before, you know they've got a huge website with a tremendous selection and great deals. But what if you could save 10%, 15%, 20%, or even more off of your purchases there? Would you be interested in that? Because I was. Almost 2 years ago now, we discovered Purse. And you can go to saveitpurse.com to learn more about it and get started there. But I've been using Purse now, saveitpurse.com, for almost 2 years. I've done 60-plus transactions, 60-something orders that normally I would have ordered all this stuff through the Amazon site. These were things I wanted to get and or needed to get. So I was going to buy them regardless. Why would I not want to save 20%? Well, that's what I did, and it's been like, I think I've saved like $1,300 or $1,600 over 2 years. That's money that Amazon would have gotten from me that they didn't get because I went to saveitpurse.com and I got to keep that money. Now, how does it work? Well, you have to have Bitcoin. See, that's the key. If you don't have Bitcoin, saveitpurse.com won't be able to do anything for you. Well, actually, you can buy Bitcoin through saveitpurse.com, but you're paying quite a premium if you buy the Bitcoin there. But if you have Bitcoin, you can spend your Bitcoin on things at Amazon and get 10 to 20% off very easily. Now, you can actually ask for more than 20% off, but it takes longer. The more the percentage, the longer it's going to take to get that sale done. I just got a PlayStation 3 game, normal price $20. I asked for 25% off. I got it for just over $15. So, I mean, why not? Save at Purse, saveatpurse.com. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We've been discussing Facebook and this controversy over a classic, iconic, horrifying Vietnam War photo, which some people call Napalm Girl, but apparently the actual name of the photo is The Terror of War. We've covered various different aspects, and we can continue, but you can also take control of the airwaves. So let's go to Skype, where Parker is on the line. I believe he's in Washington State. Go ahead, Parker.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
So, let's see here. 9/11 was on Sunday.
That's correct.
And I saw this incredible movie that that a friend shared with me on Facebook. Ian, I shared it with you. I shared it on Free Talk Live's page. I shared it with pretty much everyone that I thought would watch it. And it is incredible.
What is it?
It's called Operation Terror. Basically, the movie is... How do I describe it? Basically, how it works is it shows everything that the CIA or government was essentially doing with some embellishment, because there's no way of knowing 100% for certain whether or not they did, in fact, do 9/11. But there's a lot of things that have been talked about by James Corbett of thecorbettreport.com and
Isn't
other
Operation
things.
Terror an Alex Jones movie?
No.
Sounds like one, yeah.
Is this a 9/11 conspiracy movie, or is it covering more of a history than that?
What they're doing is it's covering the events of 9/11 and some speculations of 9/11 in a drama-style, motion picture-based film.
So it's fiction.
I would say that it is speculative fiction, where you definitely know that certain things happened. Like, for instance, when Peter Wolfowitz said that we need a new Pearl Harbor via PNAC, Project for a New American Century. That actually happened. That was said in the film.
It did happen. Yep.
The Council on Foreign Relations, it's in there, but they changed it from the Council on Foreign Relations to the Council on Foreign Affairs. That's in there. It's a little bit different, but it's still in there.
This sounds like it'd be up your alley, Cody.
Anything about Tower 7?
Yes, Tower 7 is definitely in there, and I can definitely tell you about that. So remember the guy, the black guy that was on the news on ABC after the tower went down?
No.
Well,
was he the one that said it looked like a controlled demolition?
Well, yeah, he worked in I think he worked in the control center on like the 23rd floor or something, 23rd or 24th floor. Well, obviously they couldn't use the actual footage because it may be copyrighted.
Mm-hmm.
They would have to get the rights for it. That would be really expensive. They probably wouldn't give them the rights. But what they did is they used basically the same transcripts for what was said, and they used actors to basically say exactly what was said.
Huh, okay.
Or at least that's my assumption of it, because you would be hard-pressed to find differences in what was said in the scenes where they're showing media versus what was actually said in those very same portrayals of the media.
So would you recommend this over maybe Zeitgeist or Loose Change? Or is this just kind of like another whole separate thing?
I haven't seen Loose Change.
Okay.
Well, Loose Change is a conspiracy movie about 9/11, and there have been some great debunkings of Loose Change, so I'd like to encourage anybody who's familiar with Loose Change to look for Loose Change Guide on the internet, which just tears it apart scene after scene. But it's interesting. I was actually looking this up here, Operation Terror, the movie you're talking about, Parker, and apparently it was actually written and produced by Art Olivier. Now, longtime libertarians will remember this man's name. He was the running mate of Harry Browne in the 2000 election season.
Interesting.
He was the Libertarian Party's vice presidential selection, back when the Libertarian Party actually ran real libertarians for their presidential ticket. So apparently he was one of the main players in making the movie that you're calling about here tonight. Parker, thanks for the recommendation. Appreciate hearing from you tonight. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes. I heard on the NPR news that the breathalyzers will be incorporated into like all the new cars as a standard feature.
What?
So, yes, all of the new cars that will be put out will have a built-in breathalyzer. I'm not the ones that for the drunk drivers where you have to blow into it or anything like that. Not that kind.
Well, what
every car company decided to get together and implement this
feature? I don't believe this. I mean, she's reported a bunch of false stuff before. So what kind of feature are we talking about here?
Well, in other words, there's it's like an air filter. It sucks in the air and it analyzes your breath and your perspiration. And then the car detects whether you have too much alcohol in your system, and it'll shut it down. It'll shut down.
Where did you hear that? You heard this on the news, you say?
Yes, yeah. I heard it on the news. It's going to be like airbags, like seat belts. It's going to be like part of the safety features, And of course, they were going to put in the computers on all of the cars. I
can't find any evidence that this is true, Sarah. It just doesn't make any sense.
I did hear about it.
First of all, it doesn't make any sense from a couple of aspects. One, the reason why you blow into the breathalyzer is because that's a concentrated amount of your breath going into a device that is designed to read the blood alcohol content, or how much alcohol it believes is in your bloodstream based on what's in your breath. And if you're breathing in the car, then your breath is going to diffuse throughout the entire car. So if what you're saying is there's some detector inside the car gadgetry somewhere, it's not going to be subject to...
Actually, what I heard is that in these new vehicles that they're going to have like a lancet in the steering wheel, and it's going to prick your finger and take a blood test. And then they actually also have, just to make sure you're not on LSD, they have a hair test on the rear of the headrest of the seat. So you like lean your head back.
How about a
and
urine test, too?
But they're all yeah, they have that too. It actually, it's like a little tube that comes out of the, the center console.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. Of course, I would always check Sarah's claims. Thank you for the call, though. We appreciate it. It's Free Talk Live. We're coming.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-929-5733. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-929-5733. 1-800-929-5733.
Attention investors saving for retirement. What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands in the form of physical gold and silver coins? You know you can't do that with your stocks. With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Augusta Precious Metals offers free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free, so call today. 855-222-5857. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call toll-free 855-222-5857 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call 855-222-5857. That's 855-222-5857.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's
Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll-free and join us here. Bring up whatever you want. Coming up, how to flirt, according to Johnson. According to an article that he will share with us. We'll get into that in moments because both of you gentlemen have been active in the dating scene here recently. The Tinder / OkCupid world. We can get into that in moments. You can also take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever you want. And if you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty, you can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know people love to read them. So check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic, liberty-oriented messages over at libertystickers.com. That's libertystickers.com. As we go to Charlie, he's listening in Arizona to K-Talks. Hello, Charlie.
How you doing, Ian?
Hey there.
I have a comment about the Napalm Girl and an Arizona update if you'd like it.
Let's hear the Napalm Girl. That's what we've been discussing throughout most of the show.
Yeah.
It's the iconic Vietnam photo. It's not actually called Napalm Girl, but that's what I guess a lot of people refer to it as. It's called The Terror of War by Nick Ut. He's the one who took that photo, and it has been the subject of controversy on Facebook recently. Should or should not Facebook allow it? And we've kind of covered various different aspects of that. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Right. I don't believe it was ever published in newspapers, but it was published in Life. I think it was an
Life
actual
magazine
cover photo.
Wow.
As well as a picture of General Luan shooting the Viet Cong suspect during Tet.
Right.
They were published in Life. So I mean, Life magazine. How broadly do you want to go with it? And I'm probably dating myself, but you want to see topless women at my age, you got a copy of National Geographic.
You don't have the internet?
What's that?
You don't have the internet?
I think he meant in the past.
Oh.
You mean in the past?
Yeah, that's why I'm dating myself.
Right.
Yeah.
But, okay, the update from Arizona is after a great deal of effort by a group called the Arizonas for a Responsible Drug Policy, took the ballot for legalizing recreational cannabis use in Arizona to court twice. They lost in Superior Court and in appeals court in spite of massive donations by pharmaceutical companies, and it will be on the ballot.
So what specifically is going to be on the ballot? Is it full-on legalization?
Yeah. Just like Colorado,
Great.
Recreational use. So
fantastic news, Charlie.
I think it's an important part.
There's going to be several state ballots that have that this year. The state of Maine, where you're from, Cody, I believe Massachusetts is doing it. And as you said, Arizona, I think there's like 5 or 6 states that are going to have ballot initiatives to legalize cannabis. Thank you for the call, Charlie. I appreciate it. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Kids, Life magazine was this thing that magazines are a thing that have pieces of paper in them with photos and articles. Just in case somebody doesn't know, I mean, we're getting into the point in life where somebody born within the last few years or decade or so may have never actually seen it.
Through it on their Kindle.
Well, there are apps like that.
I grew up with Nintendo Power, but I don't know how many kids are getting magazines nowadays.
No, not very many, I suspect. So anyway, Life magazine, by the way, it looks like their final Life was published in 2002. Back when originally it was a weekly publication until from the year 1883 to 1972.
So Life died, basically. That's what you're saying?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE.
All Life was perished.
So I don't know if there's really much else to say about this Facebook situation. The article over at The Guardian goes on to talk about their trending topics section, where apparently there were recently a team of editors that has been fired. So now apparently it is now algorithms, because there was some controversy, if you recall, earlier this year, that the editors were ostensibly picking certain stories over others to promote a political agenda. And so I guess in order to make people believe that there's
kind of a bummer that they were fired. You would think they could have repositioned
absorbed them elsewhere into to the company. The Facebook controversy expanded this week when it removed a post by Erna Solberg, Norway's conservative leader, who published the image of the terror image that we're talking about here, the terror of war from the Vietnam era. Published the image and called on the company to review its editing policy. Solberg said it was highly regrettable the technology corporation had meddled with her Facebook page. She said it was an attempt to edit our common history. Quote, "I wish today's children will also have the opportunity to see and learn from historical mistakes and events. This is important," she said. When Edgelin complained about the censorship, the company then suspended his Facebook account. By the way, the female in question here, the actual girl in the photo, Ms. Phuc, now lives in Canada with her husband and 2 children, piled on further pressure with her own powerful statement saying, quote, "I'm saddened by those who would focus on the nudity in the historic picture rather than the powerful message it conveys. I fully support the documentary image taken by Nick Ut as a moment of truth that capture the horror of war and its effects on innocent victims." Let's go to Jacob in New Jersey. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Jacob.
Hi, so I've been sort of researching and reviewing, looking at libertarianism, and I sort of came to the conclusion that it's built on a sort of fallacy. I mean, you reject the idea that the state is you reject the idea that the state is a legitimate idea, right? You think it's like an illegitimate concept, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean by legitimate? I mean, do you think that using violence on peaceful people is a legitimate thing? Like, is that your idea of
I don't think it's. I don't think it's legitimate in the sense that it's like natural, but I do think there's a certain practical value to the idea of the state. I think
so. Violence is practical.
Well, yeah, in a certain sense, it is. I feel like it outweighs the negatives.
So what you're saying is that violence against peaceful people, there are positives that outweigh the negatives to using violence on peaceful people. What are those positives?
Well, one positive would be that the fact that it sort of acts like a vacuum, right? That's one of the main arguments of minarchists, I think. That if you eliminate the state, eventually, if you eliminate the main fabric of the state, the main centralized state, then different power groups are going to try to take advantage.
So what you're saying is you're defending government. You're saying you're defending government because if we get rid of a government, another one's going to spring up anyways? Is that what you're saying? There's a power vacuum. Well, so you take down one dictator and there's going to be another dictator, so you might as well just suck it up and just enjoy the first one.
Well, that's why we have a constitution. That's why we have a limitation on that government.
Do you think they give a crap about the Constitution?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Constitution's been ignored for my entire lifetime. I don't know how long you've been around, but it's pretty clear that the Constitution isn't in effect any more than just something that politicians and an occasional judge can pander to. I mean, you can go through the Bill of Rights one by one, and you can see they've been eviscerated over time. So your Constitution hasn't really done much to keep peaceful people safe from the violence of the state.
But didn't the philosophers Locke?
I mean, where I can agree with you on this is, what you're talking about, this power vacuum and, people fighting over it. I can kind of, to a certain extent, I can agree with you on that, because getting people to the ideas, right, getting people universally, right, to all come to this idea that, hey, we've all got to come to this understanding that violence is wrong.
You can't get using universal.
Violence, not universal, but majority, right? Like you're going to need to in order to get a peaceful society, you need to have a peaceful society, right? You have to get most people on board with that idea.
Agreed.
And I can agree with you about this whole power vacuum, and that there are always going to be people that are going to try and get power. So you need to have this sort of mass enlightenment in order to get people to say, okay, this is how we want society to operate. We want society to see the use of violence as something that is only used defensively and only used, in terms of justice to stop people from engaging in initiatory force upon one another. And that is, something that is going to take a massive sort of enlightenment education.
It's going to take probably decades, generations.
We could always spike the water supply with LSD if it's out real quick.
Look, I agree with where you're coming from on that, Johnson, in that what you're saying is that today, if tomorrow the state were to disappear, sure, somebody's going to somebody, so a warlord or a government or whatever you want to call it, is going to fill in that gap.
That doesn't make libertarianism a fallacy, though.
Correct.
It doesn't make that a fallacy.
But I want Jacob to be able to respond, so let's continue this discussion. Plus, dating tips coming up. Actually, flirting tips. That's different from dating.
Tips, yeah.
Flirting's before dating, usually. Yes. Toll-free number is 855-450 free. Johnson's going to share those with us. Coming up here in hour number 3, we've got time for you as well. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Well, tipping might be a great way. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card-sized Bitcoin tip that is easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets, spending, and returns to the user if unused? Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, September 13th, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.08 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,325 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $610. Antiwar.com reports the Syrian ceasefire went into effect on Monday evening across the entire country. Despite a handful of claims of violations, it appears they have largely been intact. Across the country, there is considerable tension and many expect the deal to fail, but there is also a calm. The largest reported incident of fighting was in the far southern Daraa province, where southern rebels who were supposed to be part of the ceasefire bragged of killing 4 soldiers after it was supposed to have gone into effect. Helicopter strikes were also reported against the rebel-held half of Aleppo, though since the area is held by the Nusra Front, which is not a party to the ceasefire, it is unclear if they actually amount to a violation or not. The plan is for the ceasefire to last 7 days, leading to joint U.S.-Russian operations against some rebel factions within Syria. This presumably will include attacks on Nusra as well as the Islamic State, though details are relatively scant on the matter. There's also some hope that it would lead to peace talks which might resolve the war, though this appears to be a real long shot, and getting those rebels to even agree to participate in peace negotiations has historically been all but impossible and filled with preconditions demanding unilateral government surrender before the talks.
Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co.
UPI reports a federal appeals court will consider whether the government can bar people from taking pictures of their ballots in voting booths. The First Circuit Court of Appeals in Boston will hear arguments on Tuesday whether it is a violation of free expression or a way to prevent fraud. New Hampshire became the first state to prohibit so-called ballot selfies in 2014. The law makes it a crime punishable by a fine of up to $1,000 for a voter to take a picture of their ballot and post it on social media. The law was blocked a year ago by a federal judge and the state appealed. This law was amended from one in 1979 that makes it illegal for a voter to show a ballot to someone else with the intention of disclosing how the person plans to vote. 3 New Hampshire voters who are challenging the law took selfies as they voted. New technology, namely the smartphone, is in conflict with concerns about vote buying that date back to the 1800s. Gilles Bissonnette of the American Civil Liberties Union of New Hampshire, representing the challengers, says there isn't a single instance of vote buying in the state and no one has complained to New Hampshire officials about the ballot selfies. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a grand jury will hear evidence of whether Chicago police officers lied to justify the 2014 shooting death of a teenager by a police officer, according to local media reports on Monday. Patricia Brown Holmes, a special prosecutor appointed by Cook County Judge Leroy Martin Jr. in July, motioned for a grand jury on Monday after looking at preliminary information. She did this so that people would know there was fairness in the process. Martin accepted the motion and said he would convene a special grand jury to hear evidence, according to the Chicago Tribune. The October 2014 killing of Laquan McDonald, who was shot 16 times by Officer Jason Van Dyke, brought intense national scrutiny on Chicago's police force. A police video of the shooting released more than a year later made headlines across the country and prompted calls for Mayor Rahm Emanuel to resign. The video footage showed Van Dyke continuing to fire after McDonald had fallen to the ground. Van Dyke is facing charges of first-degree murder and is on unpaid leave. Van Dyke has pled not guilty. The police report on the shooting conflicted with the video footage, sparking accusations that Van Dyke's fellow officers were trying to cover up an unjustified shooting. Last month, the chief of Chicago's police department recommended that 5 officers, including Van Dyke, be fired over their role in the shooting. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A new report from the National Center for Education shows that an alarming 10% of U.S. high school students graduate without basic object permanence skills. According to the study, a growing number of American seniors are lagging behind their international counterparts when it comes to the crucial knowledge that things don't just disappear if you're not looking at them.
Because it exists even if your eyes can't see it. Am I making sense?
No. U.S. high schoolers have dropped to 17th in science, 25th in math, and a troubling 180th place in the basic cognitive awareness most humans develop as toddlers. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan is asking Congress to fund increased after-school disguise and reveal programs.
It's time to get the kids excited to learn the most obvious mental concepts that make us capable of functioning.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do better. It's just I don't know how I'm supposed to learn anything if I don't even have a teacher.
I'm still here, Vanessa.
Some educators worry that too much focus placed on object permanence might take away from other important skills, such as not touching hot things that could burn you.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. Of course, you can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. Coming up, some flirting tips. Johnson's going to share those with us. We, in the last hour, had Jacob on the line, though, calling us from New Jersey. And Jacob, we're going to bring you back here and continue the conversation because, you said you've been researching libertarianism and that you believe you found some problems. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, so please correct me if I'm wrong here. But essentially, you brought up the idea that if the state were to go away, that there would be a power vacuum and other people in search of power warlords or other state people would come and fill that vacuum. Johnson pointed out in response that that's not really poking holes in the ideas of libertarianism, in that the idea of libertarianism is that you should not use the threat of violence in order to achieve political or social goals. Obviously, we're at a place in time where most people do not understand that. They won't use violence in their own personal life. They would never consider using violence against their next door neighbor or their family members or somebody at work or whatever, but they are totally fine with using the auspices of the state to enact violence on people because, well, that's the system, and they don't even really realize the violence that they're asking for. So go ahead and shoot back or tell me if I got something wrong there.
Well, actually, my next point relates to exactly what you just said. So you think there's like a certain universality to morality, right? Like individuals wouldn't initiate force against each other, so why should this broad system do so, right?
I wouldn't say that. I think that I think different people have different interpretations of what morality is.
So what I would submit to you is I would question the legitimacy of saying there's a universality of morality in the sense that just because one individual can't do something. I know, but but I feel like that is the.
I said it's not okay to use. So one of my values or morals is that it's not okay to use violence to achieve political or social goals. What you're saying is some people think it is okay.
And we're not disagreeing.
I guess I'm. Okay.
And you're one of those people, right? You're one of the people who is willing to use violence to achieve your goals.
Well, I'm not personally willing to, but I'm willing to be part of a very broad system that does it in a controlled way, I think.
Well, you should join a country where they all believe that and keep me out of it.
Well, first of all, to suggest that the government does anything in a controlled way, I think, is to ignore the reality, the fact that their own rules are ignored by their own agents on a day-to-day basis. So even though it may appear on the wide view to be controlled, like, oh, there's this constitution. They've passed these laws. They're written down words on paper. Men with uniforms are enforcing them. There's a court system. There's a man in a robe. It appears as though everything is very orderly. And but the reality is they just do whatever it is they want to do, and then most of the time don't get called on it.
I think the problem is that a lot of people get scared of this idea of anarchy because whenever we talk about anarchy, people start thinking chaos, right?
Which is why I don't talk about it. But you do.
Right. Well, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but people are going to think that way.
Sure.
And so I don't think this guy's wrong about the idea of a power vacuum. So, it's very possible that, a government comes down, people get scared, they're looking for somebody to take care of them, so they bring on the next dictator. That's very possible. However, that is not, for me, enough justification to say, just because I'm worried about something that might happen, I'm not going to still be against what is going on right now, being enslaved by a group of people who believe they have more power over me.
Jacob, would you describe yourself? I'm just going to take a shot in the dark here. Would you describe yourself as alt-right?
No, I don't think. I sort of used to be in that camp. I sort of used to be a libertarian. Then I realized I was being a bit too dogmatic about it. Like, I didn't really believe that this kind of system was sustainable.
I don't think
it's not really a system. Hold on.
How is that dogmatic?
Wait. Libertarianism isn't a system.
Because,
it's the absence. It's the absence of a system.
Explain what I meant by dogmatic.
Sure.
Sorry, what? What I meant by dogmatic was I felt like I was giving libertarian ideas legitimacy before really looking at them, because I was saying this broad idea, this broad philosophy is automatically correct, and I feel like it's not a.
Well, where does it break down? Where in your mind?
Do that for any philosophy.
I'm with you. Where does it break down? Give us a specific example of where you think, the use of the threat of violence or actual violence to achieve some sort of social end, some kind of goal. Where should that happen?
When it comes to the government monitoring certain things on the internet, for example, certain things that probably shouldn't be on the internet.
What?
That kind of thing. Like, I feel like we need...
Dude, that's your first example?
You're saying you believe the internet should be censored?
That's about the dumbest example you could come up with for the first one.
But I want to make sure I'm understanding.
I'm talking about child pornography, nothing like normal.
You're saying the government should have the ability to censor Because child pornography exists?
And I'm saying, I think it's not really, well, yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. But also when it comes to things like driver's licenses, when it comes to tracking.
See, here's the problem with where you're coming from. Your fears about the things that you think are dangerous are what are leading you towards embracing the idea of authority, which ultimately will only lead to you and your life being invaded and controlled. If you want to, stop child pornography, then you're going to need an all-seeing, omnipotent state that would have the ability to raid anyone's computer or, have some sort of spyware on everyone's computer at all times with something even larger and more intrusive than the NSA monitoring all of that information and, people being rounded up because of suspected problems. And then, of course, how do you prove who it was using the computer? I'll just throw them all in jail. I mean, it goes down a very, very dark, dangerous road. Of course, libertarians for years have talked about the roads. There are plenty of objections to libertarianism because they feel like government needs to take care of the roads. But, of course, there are private roads, and, they can have rules for things like insurance and driving ability and things like that. So I don't think anybody is against the idea of
Disney World. Disney World has some great highways.
They sure do. And I don't think anybody's against the idea of making sure that the roads that people drive on are safe. And it's okay to use violence in response to a threat or to use violence in response to an actual violence. So we're talking about, as libertarians, we oppose the use of the initiation of force. And you gave the example of child pornography. The initiation there would be like a mass hacking campaign like the FBI has been engaging in and is trying to continue to get the authorization to engage in. See, the thing is, Jacob, when you demand that other people be controlled, then you're opening yourself up for yourself to be controlled. Is that what you really want?
Okay, I think you guys are gonna beat me on these philosophical, these broader points. But can I try to get one more thing across? I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Sure.
So I think this might come across as strange, but I feel like you guys have a different view of philosophy than normal people. A view that most people will not be able to attain, whether it's because of their intellectual level or whatever. I don't think it's a view that they'll be able to attain. They won't be able to understand it, and it won't be achievable because not enough people will think of the world in this sort of worldview.
That doesn't make it wrong, though.
Well, you may be right about that.
It does not make it wrong, but it makes it so unachievable that what's the point of talking about it?
Well, because I believe in it. I didn't move here because I thought it was going to be easy. I moved here because I believed in it.
And because we weren't making any traction anywhere else, probably because of what Jacob's saying is people do believe in violence. They do believe fundamentally in the ability to control their neighbor, that if they vote in enough strength that they'll be able to force their neighbors to do the things that they want them to do. And I think that's what we're trying to overcome here. We're literally trying to create a movement that can persuade people to these ideas, that can show them, and thank you, by the way, for the call tonight.
I don't know, you sold me. I'm going to just head to church this Sunday. I just, obviously I just need to join the sheep mentality here because, having unique ideas and thoughts is just such a horrible thing.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody has to start with a unique idea, right? Like, the world is round. Those kind of ideas came out, and they were fought against for a long time.
Yep.
And the ideas of liberty are being fought against, and that doesn't mean they're worthless or not worth arguing for. We'll continue. This is Free Talk Live.
Know that sound? That's the sound of trouble for CPAP users. Did you know that just one drop of water in your CPAP system can become a breeding ground for mold and bacteria? Breathe that stuff in and you're battling respiratory infections, allergy attacks, and more. But here's good news. SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It's the healthier way to clean your system because it kills 99.9% of germs in minutes. For a limited time, you can try it risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-951-9693. SoClean makes cleaning your CPAP a breeze. It's completely hands-free. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Don't let one drop of water wreak havoc on your body. Call SoClean.com now for your risk-free trial while supplies last. 1-800-951-9693. That's 1-800-951-9693.
You're fired.
According to the Small Business Administration, 75% of small businesses plan to eliminate jobs or reduce workers' hours to part-time.
You're fired.
According to Gallup, the unemployment rate recently jumped to nearly 9%, and the underemployment rate hit a staggering 17.9%.
You're fired.
1 out of 3 young adults and 1 out of 2 recent college graduates are underemployed. Hello, I'm Keith Abel, a pharmacist and a home business entrepreneur. In 2011, I became one of those statistics myself. Instead of looking for another job in corporate America, I joined Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy. We're creating steady incomes for ourselves and would like to show you how to do the same. If you want to supplement your current income, replace your income, so you don't have to become one of the statistics, then give me a call toll-free at 866-257-3105, 866-257-3105.
You're fired.
Don't wait till you hear those words. Start creating an extra income today. 866-257-3105.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. Hydrocare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfides, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
On the second Saturday of every month, the Texas Republic Congress meets in a joint session. To learn how you can attend or become a member of Congress, visit thetexasrepublic.com. And together, we can liberate Texas.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free. Join us here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. The number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And if you've ever wanted to start your own blog or website but just haven't been able to put your idea into action, you're in luck. Free Talk Live, we're partnering with HostGator to offer you a special offer just for Free Talk Live listeners to give you 30% off their regular prices. What you do to get the deal is you go to HostGator.com/FTL. Now, hosting your own website or blog can be an intimidating process if you're new at it. But HostGator makes it easy. They've actually got a simple one-click, easy installation of WordPress, which is like the content management system for blogs. That's what almost all of my websites are running, except for Free Talk Live. They've got 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support and a very intuitive and user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation and the simplicity of use into the hands of you, the customer. HostGator has a 99.99% uptime rating, so you don't have to worry about downtime. Get the special offer of 30% off for Free Talk Live listeners by visiting HostGator.com/FTL. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We've got David on the line via Skype. David, are you with us? Do we have David on the line? David going once. David going twice. We'll put David back on hold. Maybe he's having some microphone issues. In fact, let's go to a different Dave. This one's in New Hampshire on the line. Hello, Dave. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I wanted to express
some observations regarding the New Hampshire election today. In my experience at the polling place.
Okay, go for it.
So there are these. I want to explore the idea of poll worker as enemy of the people. Not necessarily based on all that much that I experienced today, but partly what clued me into this was seeing that video of you having the literature ripped out of your hands by a poll worker.
Oh, yeah, that's a few years old at this point, but yeah, that happened.
Well, it's getting worse in the sense that there are additional laws that I think went into effect this year, which much more severely restrict what you can do in the immediate vicinity of a polling place.
Yeah, one of the new rules is you can't wear any campaign materials into past a certain point. So you could not wear a shirt for one of the candidates into the polling location.
So this isn't the most important issue on the planet, but I still get excited when I hear this concept of you need to wear fewer clothes or you need to wear more clothes. Mm-hmm. Because it's some of the same SOBs at Concord. They're saying, well, that woman shouldn't have that shirt on. Well, they're the same ones who are saying she shouldn't be able to take it off.
Yeah, I would say it's an outrageous rule that they've put into place, and it may even be unconstitutional to say that you can't even wear whatever shirt you want to while you're going to vote. The idea is that you're going to be you'll influence people if you walk in with that candidate shirt on, and you're not allowed to campaign past a certain point.
Like they haven't already made up their. If you haven't already made up your mind
right.
as you're going in to vote, then why are you voting?
Right.
Well, I like his name the best.
Yeah, I wasn't going to vote for that guy until I saw that campaign T-shirt on the dude as I was walking in. I mean, come on.
Who are these people?
It's pretty ridiculous.
It is.
What else did you want to share, Dave?
Well, this is something that's begging for civil obedience, right? Because it would be really nice to have a pretty lady walk in there and be told, oh, you can't have that shirt on. Okay.
Take it off.
I guess I'll just take it off, right? If you get video of that, we're guaranteed to go viral, but I can't supply the pretty woman. So.
All right, so I tried to get Renee to go and vote today, and she wasn't willing to go and do it.
We've got some advice for Dave that might help him a little bit.
The flirting tips. We'll get to that coming up here. Dave, great idea. And we've got another chance, though. This is the primary day today. If we send Renee in there with some sort of candidate T-shirt on, she could then maybe take that off if they tell her to take it off. That would make some awesome video.
Well, you have your shirt that says Freeman on it.
That's true. That's a good point.
Well, the shirt, I guess they would ban a shirt that said Ian Freeman on it, right?
Well, Ian has a shirt that says Freeman.
Well, yeah, I was running in the Democratic primary, but right. I'm going to be eliminated as of tonight. Right. So I don't know if they would get upset about that at the general election. Or, if you could put right in Freeman or something like that, and then it would become illegal. Dave, thanks for calling tonight. I appreciate it. Maybe we'll find somebody to pull that off at the general election. I think that would be cool.
That'd be some great activism.
Yep, let's go to Philip. And it probably would go viral, too. I mean, topless girl.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Philip, you're on Free Talk Live.
So I want to talk about a little conversation I had with my son tonight.
Okay.
We're coming home from dinner, and I was observing, my partner was reading a post on Facebook about more athletes, kind of this anti-nationalist thing spreading where they're not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance or flags or things like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I said, maybe they'll stop paying taxes pretty soon. So then my son asked, why are taxes real? My son's 8 years old. So he asked, why are taxes real? So I answered to him, I said, well, if you took a gun and pointed at someone or threatened to point it at someone, and then say, give me some of your money or I'm going to shoot you, then that would be called theft, right? He's like, right. I said, well, if the government does it, they call it taxes. And he says, and so he answers, so if the government does it, it's okay? As a question, I said, well, they'd like you to think it's okay, but it's still theft. It doesn't make any sense, does it? And he said, no. So even an 8-year-old understands that taxes are theft.
Right.
And I just wanted to call up and share that story with you guys.
I think it's a lot easier to convince a child these ideas than a lot of old people that have decades and decades of indoctrination that you have to work through.
Thank you, Philip, for that call, by the way. I really appreciate it.
A kid, you teach the kid the golden rule, and that's about all they need to figure out what's going on with the world.
Skype sounded so good in that call, you could hear the crickets in the background. That was awesome. Let's go to Ralph. He's in New Jersey. Ralph, you're on Free Talk Live. You have some flirting tips for us, Ralph. We're about to get into a topic about how to flirt, tips on flirting. What's Ralph's top tip?
God.
For
You should go straight to having sex with a black female, as I told you before, to relieve yourself of the white guilt. I think the last time I called her.
What are you talking about?
Do you know what you can send my way?
You put me, you see, hello, white guilty, and good evening to you. That's one.
Can you do me a favor and not scream into your phone? It's hard. It kind of breaks it up, breaks your voice up a little bit.
I love how he can't even say any of this crap with a straight face.
What do you think? Do you think she'd get turned on if I called her an animal?
Well, no, that's Obama right there. That's Obama right there. He was let out of the cage, and is in his best, I call it best or worst element. Currently in New York City, by the way.
Hey, Ralph, are you married?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No,
When's the last time you went on a date? When's the last time you went on a date, Ralph?
I work day and night trying to survive with the economy of Obama, so no time for that.
He doesn't. He's working too hard. You're working too hard.
Were you in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies by any chance?
No, I'm not. But since you put me in the category of being, quote, a racist, this straight out of the playbook of, Hillary, the basket of deplorable playbook, okay? If I'm that, okay, which I'm not, but it's part for the course for me being that, okay?
Yeah, sure.
What do we consider Obama then?
Good question. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are the answers to your present and future hidden in your past? Akashic Readings help you learn to unlock the answers for love, finances, weight loss, self-esteem, confusion, grief and loss, and more. Akashic email readings by Dr. Kelly Maroon, PhD, are specially priced right now. Learn more at Dr. Kelly Maroon's website, akashicuniversal.com, spelled AKASHIC universal.com. Change your life today. Become one with your true path with intention on purpose. Visit akashicuniversal.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Tuesday, gold is $4 lower at $1,324 per ounce. Silver is 15 cents lower at $19 per ounce. Bitcoin is $607 US. Check out our selection of Royal Canadian Mint products. Beautiful bars and coins with enhanced security features. For more information, call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free. Join us here. The number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Cody,
and Johnson.
All right, we're going right back into your calls and your thoughts. Let's talk to David. He's on the line in New Mexico via Skype.
Hey, can you still hear me?
Yep, got you loud and clear this time. Go ahead.
Good. Facebook. But first of all, two things quick. One, Sarah in Albuquerque. Do you know how she listens to you when she listens? I know she doesn't listen, like you say, to the most of the program. She listens while she's on hold. Is she listening only over the phone?
Probably.
I suspect yes. Unless she's listening to us on Kiva some nights, but most of the time she calls, we're not on Kiva, so she's usually not listening at all. Then we'll call in about some random.
She's one of these callers that wants to be a broadcaster but can't.
Well, there's a certain crew of people who have figured out, hey, these guys will take calls from anyone, and that's kind of what we do. So they call a lot.
Exactly, but yeah, she does whatever social justice work. She calls the local stations too. I think from listening to her, I think what's going on though is that she does not have a computer, and you're not on the radio, and so the only time that she hears you is on the phone.
We have
and
call-in lines. We have listening lines that people can listen on their phone if they want.
Yeah, she's got an Obama phone, so her minutes are limited. I think is what the problem is. So anyway, you before Facebook, you're talking about libertarianism, government, and stuff.
Yes.
This government that we have is already well outside of the law that put it in place, and I'm sure you won't argue with that.
Nope.
There, yeah, okay. We're already, I guess the phrase is post-constitutional. They're not the law that established this country. They're not even following that law anymore, which by definition in my book makes the government literally illegitimate. And so in my book, this government we have is literally
if they don't
not
have
legit.
to follow their own rules, then why should we?
Exactly. Well, that's what the Declaration of Independence provided for a situation like this, and gave we the people the right to just get rid of this government and replace it with one that suits our needs.
Because I'd just rather get rid of it and forget about replacing it. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing, because if forgetting about replacing it is the same as replacing it with a government that meets your needs.
Right.
So if not a government is the government that meets your needs,
Good
then
point.
you follow we have that permission, that right already.
Yep. Not only that, but here in New Hampshire, Article 10 of the New Hampshire Constitution's Bill of Rights actually enshrines the right to revolution, which is very, very similar to the concept of the Declaration of Independence. David, good call tonight, man. I appreciate it. Great to hear you on Skype, by the way. You sound nice and clean, and always better because he's been calling us on the phone lines, and it's an upgrade. Thanks for the call tonight, dude.
How would you describe the right to revolution? Do you know what's in that article?
Yeah, that's just forget about that. I mean, how's that going to go? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, I'm sure like it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I mean, I've tried to bring it up in court before, and obviously the judge doesn't really care.
You have the right to revolution until we bring in the Bearcats.
Right. It says here, I'll read it for you, Cody, and then we'll jump into flirting. Government being instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the whole community, and not for the private interest or emolument of any one man, family, or class of men. Therefore, whenever the ends of government are perverted, and public liberty manifestly endangered, and all other means of redress are ineffectual, the people may, and of right, ought to reform the old or establish a new government. The doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power and oppression is absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind. So it sounds pretty good, especially that last line.
Yeah.
The doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power and oppression is absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind. Now, the problem with this article, one of the problems, is that it says that all other means of redress are ineffectual. So in order for this to apply, you have to show that all other methods of redress are ineffectual. And, of course, people would argue that, well, you could still vote changes into place. And by the way, the New Hampshire primary is going on as we speak, or I guess it ended at 7 p.m. Eastern time, but the reporting is now coming in. And with about 46% of the precincts reporting, I have racked up 1.4%.
There you go.
Of the Democratic primary votes for governor thus far. Johnson, tell me about the story here from, was it Ask Men?
Ask Men UK again.
Tips on flirting.
Flirting tips from professionals. These people are paid to flirt.
Paid flirters.
They want to show you how it's done.
How does that even work?
Well, they say here, being devastatingly charming isn't just for the Clooneys and Goslings of the world, you know. Across boardrooms, bars, and used car showrooms, you will find professional flirts. People who practically have sweet-talking etched into their job specifications. But what's the secret to keeping smoothness switched on for 8+ hours a day, and how can you activate yours for personal gain? Yep, we're thinking women. Read on. The bartender they've got archetypes here. So I'm going to just lay out what the archetypes are, and then we can talk maybe about a few of them. I don't know if we'll get to all of them. But the types are: the bartender, use self-effacing humor. The food delivery PR, have a 10-minute goal. The butler, never stop listening. The consultant, pay appropriate compliments. The marketer, use your head, literally. The PR, approach people thinking the worst. And the account exec, latch on to similar experiences. So let's go into the first one here, which is the bartender. Use self-effacing humor. Being able to take the proverbial, I don't know if I can say that.
A word on the radio?
Yeah, it's like it's English, slang.
English slang? Can you start spelling it?
P-I-S.
Oh, yeah, it depends. That's a tough one.
Well, to take that out of oneself is highly effective in creating an instant rapport. It immediately relaxes your peers. Then they feel they're able to poke fun, which is essential in most relationships. It also washes away intimidation or arrogance, two states that make people feel uncomfortable. When I was bartending, I made a mistake when it came to a family's meal. But because I was friendly in handling it, was very apologetic, and took the P out of myself, they gave me the biggest tip I earned in 2 years. That's from a former bartender. The next one, food delivery PR, have a 10-minute goal.
PR?
Yep, public relations.
Ah, okay.
My aim in every meeting is to make someone feel relaxed and comfortable enough with me that they talk about their personal life within 10 minutes of sitting down. I pick up little details. If they mention their new flat, I'd ask them about their flatmate's apartment, for those of you who are American.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Flatmate.
Translation.
I also quickly say something personal about myself. It helps people open up. The best topics to get people talking are where they live, who they live with, how long they've been at their job, what they did before. It naturally moves into where they're from or relationships. And that's from Rose McCullough, who's a PR manager for a food delivery service. So, female advice. The next.
Asking open-ended questions is very, very important, right?
Yep. The butler is the next one. Never stop listening. What works for me when having to listen carefully is simply blanking out the rest of the room so they appear to be the only person there, and repeating what they say in my head so my mind and attention don't wander.
Okay. Sometimes it's okay to repeat what they said out loud, I would think, as well. Just
and
to
this
make
guy's
sure.
a butler. I guess he actually is a butler. So that's, a tip from someone who's obviously a listener.
You've got more tips?
I do.
But I bet Sir Real's got some as well.
Oh, hey.
Sir Real is on the line calling from Every Nightclub. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. How's it going, everybody?
Hey, Sir Real. It's been a while.
It's been a long time, you know what I'm saying? But I hear you talking about flirting there, and I just wanted to pass a little congratulations on to Johnson, who had a little breakthrough, I believe.
He's got a bunch of women beating down his door right now.
I mean, I just made a choice to stop looking for a deep relationship is essentially what happened, and I decided that I'm going to just meet some people,
That's the greatest plan of all. We all want deep relationships, but before you have a deep relationship, you got to have a shallow relationship, right?
Sure.
Exactly. So the plan is go for a bunch of shallow relationships. And by that, I don't mean one night stands necessarily, but just have fun and then
Not
learn.
necessarily, he says.
Well,
what would you
no,
call
but
them? Practice girls? Are they practice girls?
They are until you want them to be something else.
All right.
Surreal, you got
got
more?
one for you?
Hang on, dude. We'll bring you back
All
here.
right.
He's always got a lot of wisdom. He spent a lot of time with the ladies. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. More tips from Surreal and Ask Men as well as we continue here in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live coming up.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Will the government protect your family from Iran and North Korea's newest weapon, EMP? We buy guns to protect ourselves, home, health, and car insurance for accidents. Maybe you also have food storage. But how would you keep your refrigerator running in a long-term EMP blackout? Using tested military designs, the Solark EMP-hardened solar generator protects and powers your critical appliances for years without burying items underground or wrapping them in aluminum foil. Unlike other preps, Solark is used every day to help offset your electric bill automatically. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to learn how easily expandable the system is. Solark is the most affordable and powerful solution on the market. The whole system even fits in the back of a pickup or SUV and can install in less than an hour. See for yourself why Solark beats other off-grid systems at PortableSolarLLC.com. Don't wait for the government. Go to PortableSolarLLC.com to learn why Solark is energy insurance for your family.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Maybe enough time for you. If you dial now, 855-450-FREE, and especially if you've got tips for flirting. Now, we started with some basics from the Ask Men story, and there's several more that you have for us, Johnson. But Sir Real has called in, and he has been a mainstay of the Mac here on Free Talk Live. He has been very, very, I think, he's got a lot of expertise at this. We're going to get back to him here, and you can also join us online anytime you want. Just go to freetalklive.com, and if you want to support the show, please shop with us. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, enter Amazon through the links you find there, and then just get your shopping done, and Free Talk Live gets a cut of the sale. It's shop.freetalklive.com. Cyril, you're back. Other flirting tips. You were talking about, just having some relationships, some short-term relationships, some practice relationships before you actually try to turn one into a long one.
Right. And women do this all the time, right? They look around, they sample the guys they're with, they try to find out who's funny, who's successful, who has money, who makes them laugh, who has confidence, and then they go on to someone else if they don't like you. Why can't men should do this too, is what I'm saying.
Do you think women are better at dating than men are?
Oh yeah, sure they are.
I kind of think that too.
They've got more to lose. They've got more to lose, and they can be more careful. And don't misunderstand the games that they play. They're tests, which are based in evolutionary biology.
Yeah.
Women also communicate a lot more than men do about this kind of stuff.
They're better at this.
From youth. They're like...
You mean with one another?
Just years in advance of guys on that, because they're constantly talking to one another,
Women are naturally better at emotional communication, so they're going to be good at this stuff.
I don't know if it's necessarily natural. I think it's societal. I think that guys from kind of youth are trained to bottle up emotions and not really talk about relationship success or especially failure. And girls, I think, will talk about failure and bad dates and all that stuff all the time. So they're learning from each other, and guys aren't.
If you're a guy and you're opening up, you're being
like you
gay,
talk about
right?
failing in a relationship, you're just gonna get made fun of. Like that's what's gonna happen as a dude.
I have a different opinion about women and their communication. I think women communicate with more modes. Body language is better for them, facial expression, tone of voice, but those are imprecise methods of communication. Men rely on specific words, and so we are sometimes more able to get our ideas across more accurately.
I agree.
They get many ideas across and then mix them up. So many women will say they have psychic powers with their friends, and they know what their friends are thinking. They don't. They just assume they are, and this is easy to test. And this can lead to miscommunication.
No, you don't believe in telepathy?
No, of course not. But it's important to pretend that you do. In fact, it's a great flirting technique to do palm reading, to do cold reading, to do some silly tricks and tell women.
Wait, Laura, you're not getting into like pickup artist stuff, are you? Because I've heard all this.
Real's a total pickup artist,
right?
The palm readings. All right.
See, I don't like some of those techniques. I think they're a little
'Cause you
cheesy,
don't
at least
believe
for
in
me.
them. You
Well,
don't-
not only because I don't believe them, but also because I find them a little cheesy. However, I do think that you can kind of twist those into what works for you. So I think that, like, for example, maybe not necessarily like cold reading, but observations are very good. If you notice something about a girl, you do like an accent. Like maybe she has an accent. You mock her accent a little bit. Make fun of her a little. Just playfully. Obviously, you're
Well,
being
that's
playful,
more
but-
that's more pickup artist stuff, right?
No, not necessarily. That's just being a friendly person that you're interacting with someone. You want to be fun. You just want to be fun.
Right. Now, listen. I want Cody, you need to understand. When I say palm reading, I'm not saying palm reading as if you believe in it.
Yeah.
I'm saying palm reading like a joke.
Yeah.
Like it's a funny goof, and then you make fun of her for believing in it. You say, you see this line right here?
So
this is your dork line.
All right. Okay. So we're talking trickery here. Okay. All right.
We're talking fun here. We're talking
all right.
fun.
Well, if we're duping the broad,
No,
then
wait.
I
Now
can
we're
get
talking about
behind it.
No.
Are we talking
We're
about
not duping anyone.
Just
We're
to clarify
being
something,
fun.
Surreal, are you talking about reading someone's palm as a flirt or on a date? I'm not clear on that.
As a flirt, as a goof.
You could do it either way. I mean, obviously.
Of course. And then you end the poem reading by saying, you see this line here? That's your dork line. I can't believe you fall for this stuff.
Right.
Well, it works in a lot of ways, right? Because you get to actually touch them on their skin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Works for all ages. It's just one of many techniques to flirt. And the other thing I want you guys to understand is we talked about multiple relationships. Now, listen, this isn't serious relationships. And remember, these girls have friends. And if they like you, you will meet their friends, and one of them might become a serious relationship.
Yeah. I have a question.
You better listen.
How do you feel about astrology? Like asking a girl her sign?
Well, personally, I don't believe in astrology, so if I always ask a girl her sign, and then I make fun of them for believing in that stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
And I laugh about it.
Yeah.
I laugh about it. But if she does believe in it strongly, then you ask her what her animal totem is, and then you have fun and you goof. You treat her like your bratty little sister, and then you go and talk to the guys nearby. Seriously, talk to the guys. And if you can't talk to girls, talk to guys first. And every woman, because they're more picking up social cues, will see that you're the guy talking to multiple people. And they'll see that you have confidence, and they'll want to talk to you.
Always got good advice, Surreal. I really appreciate it.
Is it better to have a wing man or a wing woman?
Surreal?
I think I had a cold spot there. What's that?
Is it better to have a wing man or a wing woman?
Either way, wing women, can give you lots of social proof, is what it's called, that you have female friends, which automatically moves you out of creeper zone in case you're going to be there.
Yep.
But couldn't the female wing person also C block?
Why would she do that if she's on your side?
Well, maybe she is, maybe she isn't.
Well, you never know what's going to happen when you're there and you're.
Yeah, she wouldn't be your wing woman if
I gotcha.
she's. Yeah. So here's the other thing.
You got to find one you can trust.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just a friend. You go out with a friend. Hey, be my wing woman. Great, and boom, that's it. She knows what she's there for. So let her know I'm going to meet other women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So if you ever run into a C block, what you do is you say, "Hey, wait a minute. Are you the C block for my friend too?"
You hit
cut
a cold
out.
spot on us.
Say again.
Wait a minute. Are you what?
If you come across a woman who's obviously the C block, you just pull her out and say, "Hey, wait, are you a C block? Because I'm a C block for my friends too."
Oh, so you just straight up pointed out. Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
You call them on it.
Wow.
Sure. That's one of the tests women do. This is a test that are important that men have to pass, and it's important that men pass them. And don't think of these as games and lame and game playing. This is important stuff because women are at risk of being raped and impregnated and beaten up. So they have to make
murdered.
sure that
Women are afraid of getting killed.
Right. Give them a break. Understand where they're coming from. Let them test. And it's okay. It's really okay. You got to deal with it and have fun with it.
Sir Real, always full of good info. Appreciate it. Good luck in the clubs tonight. Every nightclub, that's where he is. Thanks for the call.
That's a good point. Don't take it personally that women aren't going to trust you right off the bat. Because they've probably dealt with a lot of creepers before you.
You probably don't trust them right off the bat either.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, like,
some guys do. You know, they just
okay.
I like you.
The next succubus that's going to break my heart. You know, I mean.
Johnson, pick another. We're not going to have time for the whole list at this point because we had some experts' advice.
Let's try and burn through what we can. So we got the consultant. Pay appropriate compliments. If you like someone's top shoes or glasses, say so. It's always nice to be complimented, but never compliment people on things they can't change, e.g. physical looks, seedy and inappropriate. Also, look people in the eye to show interest and that you're paying attention. I'm deaf in one ear, so it helps a lot to look people directly in the face. It's amazing how many people tell me how sincere I seem for doing it.
Is there a difference between looking in the eye and staring at people?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The next one here is the marketer. Use your head literally. If you're trying to get someone to agree with you or you want to inspire confidence in what you're saying, when you respond in the affirmative, e.g. yes, sure, of course, nod your head slightly at the same time. That's, obviously good. You're
mirroring.
You're mirroring and, starting that yes momentum.
To go back to the eye contact thing, generally my understanding of good sales techniques, and in this case you're selling yourself, is to try to mirror, we're talking about mirror the eye contact levels of the person that you're with. So if you notice that they're not good at making eye contact, don't try and stare them down.
Find out what they're comfortable with.
Right, but if they are good at making eye contact, go ahead and give it to them.
Yeah.
Out of time for tonight. Maybe we'll pepper some more of these in over time. Always appreciate your input as well. So join us tomorrow night for more Free Talk Live. It's been Ian, Cody, and Johnson with you. Don't forget to check out Cody on his show, Off the Air Live. Go to offtheairlive.com.
Mm-hmm.
There's more Cody waiting for you there. See you tomorrow night. Online in the meantime, freetalklive.com.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum